Hello and welcome back to the Odds On podcast.
We're back. It's been a while.
After a brief hiatus, with me, Dave,
And me, Dan.
and this week we've got a special guest,
Really pleased to announce we have a friend with us.
new signing.
A new signing.
The agent's fees have been agreed.
I'm
The
Callum.
transfer request.
Yeah. I'm Callum and I'm on a massive weekly wage to be here.
Which is more than us.
All the budget has gone on a new
We're
signing.
actually paying him out of...
Will he perform? Well, and also you'll notice something if you're watching this on YouTube. We actually have a video. If we all can say hello on our lovely new whiteboard, we're going to be using this to, voice our opinions through the medium of drawings.
Yeah, which is going to go really well.
Considering we're all great at drawing, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this for a living.
So this is going to be me.
I spent a long time on that.
Oh, well.
You
Quite
are
near
so.
river. We're
Right.
gonna
But let's get into today's episode, shall we? What are we going to be talking about today, Dan?
about how squeaky my fucking chair is.
Again, all the budget went on signing Callum. So.
We can't actually afford a chair that doesn't squeak. So, what we're going to do, obviously the season has already started, so apologies for that.
We're on match week 5.
Yeah, well, you know.
5-1.
Yeah.
They blur into one, don't they?
It doesn't really matter, does it? So, we're going to do a review of the season so far, and then we're going to do some season predictions.
Despite being a bit late on them. So they're going to be week 5 predictions, aren't they? Well,
They're going to be
predictions-
more informed
Yeah,
than most
exactly.
internet,
yeah.
and yet they're still going to be wrong.
What a bunch of idiots. Right, so.
So I have a list of notes for the
Okay,
podcast
okay.
of things we could talk about, and my first note is genuinely Watford are shit.
Watford.
Discuss. Callum, have you got an opinion on Watford?
I mean, 2 changes of manager already for the season? Is it 2 changes or is it 1?
It's just the one.
Just the
Yeah,
one.
but it's back to a guy that
But
they've
they've
already had
already
before.
got rid of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a questionable start from Watford. I mean, for the team that has got some seriously good players in.
Okay, when you say seriously good,
I mean,
right,
I don't-
I'm going to map it out. So you've got Dino up front,
Dino's who's
who
injured,
is completely bang average,
And-
but it's all right.
and he is injured. Don't you?
Okay, fine. But if you get rid of Dino,
Then
you've got Gray.
Gerard Delafeu.
Okay, Gerard Delafeu couldn't save a team at all. Yeah, that analogy went down the shitter. But my basic point is, up front, they do not have
They
any
have
goal-scoring options.
Decore.
in my opinion.
And Etienne Capoue. But I don't see any of them
And
scoring
Decore
goals,
is a
mate.
really
Decore
good.
is a decent bet. Who have they got at the back?
At the back, Holobas.
It's Cabasella, isn't it, as well?
Holobas.
That's not even
Who-
spelled right, mate.
Well, Callum, I really don't care.
Right, it took
It's
what? It took 3 minutes
minutes,
for
and
a
there's a
penis
penis on the
to be
board.
drawn on the board.
Yeah, and Janmat as well.
Yeah,
Daryl
man.
Janmat.
Now that we've,
Do you see my point?
I do see your point, and you know what, Dan? I wouldn't have seen your point if I wasn't watching the Odds On podcast on YouTube with our new whiteboard.
My general point is that they're a team that would look really good in the Championship
Yeah,
and would look pretty average in the Premier League, and I think they overachieved last year.
Yeah.
Gracia did an incredible job, but as with any Watford manager, he has 4 bad games and he's out.
yeah.
Which is fine. You know, they had bad season towards the end of the... bad form at the end of the season last
season,
year.
Yeah.
But, you know, they haven't got a brilliant squad. And, yeah, I'm not surprised that they're doing this... I'm not surprised they're doing badly. I'm surprised they're doing this
badly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're doing this badly too. I mean,
But when your opening game of the season at home, you lose 3-0 to Brighton.
it's not a good start. Is it?
Yeah, you could start worse, but I'm not sure how. Oh, no, wait, you could
Yeah,
be
you-
Man United. Sorry, Chelsea, and lose 4-0.
Do you know what's,
Be West Ham and lose 5-0 to the defending champions.
and you know
Yeah,
what's
there's
even
no
more,
shame.
do you know what's more worrying about all of this is that we've just rattled off how shit Watford are, and we drew with them yesterday. Fantastic. I might have dug myself a bit of a hole
Yeah,
there.
but I'm going to explain the reason for that.
Are you learn, Dan.
David Luiz.
This
or
is
Louise.
this is me, and this is me jumping into a hole, and this is Arsenal,
Pushing you in.
pushing me into the hole. That's how I feel right about now. Considering we just rattled off how shit Watford are, and Arsenal just got them drew. It was the worst Arsenal performance I've ever seen. I'm not going to harp too long on it because
But
we'll be here forever.
let's be fair to Arsenal. Okay, you
Please.
haven't been great, but you are on even points with Chelsea,
Yep.
Spurs,
Yep.
and Leicester.
Yep.
You're
Despite
only 7 points behind Liverpool already after 5 games.
Chelsea had a
I just wanna
transfer
point
ban
out.
done.
and lost their
Right.
arguably their best player.
Yeah, well, the thing is, trying to keep up with Liverpool, you know, it's just not going to happen because we are incredible. Let's be real.
I've got the stats for what Watford had. Watford had 31 shots.
Yeah.
You had
Against Arsenal.
7.
Against Arsenal. Yeah.
31 shots against Arsenal.
And you had 7.
We didn't get into their box in the second half. It was
Watford.
genuinely the worst performance I've ever seen us do.
Is it worse than I think it was 3-0 against Crystal Palace like 4 seasons ago? Well, I genuinely watched it and I looked up every single Arsenal player and I couldn't see one who cared. For me,
Maybe
that's
not-
the worst
yeah,
Arsenal
maybe not that
performance
bad.
I've ever seen.
You
Maybe.
did look lost in the second half.
It was atrocious. But don't want to harp too much on that because I could be here forever. So let's move on. So Watford are shit. Arsenal are
Watford-
shitter.
Still bad.
Still awful. Primarily because of this fucking clown.
You still got too much dead weight at the club.
To be fair though, you have got some good like rising young talents. So you've got Nelson, who I know had a bad game,
Nelson
but he
looks
does look
terrible.
quality.
Nelson has the worst first touch of any player.
You've got Willock, who looks decent.
Well, it does it
What about
decent.
Ainsley Harriott?
Ainsley
CK
Harriott.
I'm going to go with CK. I think that's wrong.
yeah.
Maitland-Niles.
Ready,
Yeah, Ainsley Harriott.
steady, Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ready, steady, Cook's pretty good. I mean, he has absolutely phenomenal games where he looks like the best right back in the world for about 5 minutes, and then he switches off, and a player will run behind him.
But the problem is he has a formation in front of him who doesn't want to cover,
Yeah,
and 2 centre-backs who should be playing at CDM because they're not good enough to play in a back 4. Particularly David Luiz, who should only ever play in a back 3
yeah,
or in the midfield.
yeah.
He should never play in a back 4.
Or in non-league football.
Well,
I'm sure he'd be a brilliant centre-back.
He'd be a great
for
centre-
Frome Town.
he'd be a fantastic-
Sunday league.
He'd be fantastic as a circus performer.
So
But
moving away from Arsenal.
moving away from
Yeah,
Arsenal.
otherwise we'll be here all day.
Yeah, we will be all here all day. So what's our next topic of discussion, Dan? Moving on from how terrible Watford are.
So, I want to just brag about my football knowledge for a minute.
Oh, it's not about Liverpool.
Yeah, no, it's not about Liverpool. It's
I'll
about
take
my
that
football
off.
knowledge.
Sorry.
So, City are an incredible team.
Are you
We
sure
can
it's
all
not about Liverpool?
Yeah.
I think City are one of the best sides I've ever seen.
Okay.
But you watched them last season, and their 2 main centre backs were Company
Yep.
and Laporte. Okay. Now they not only was Company a starting centre back, he was also their captain and had been their captain for
Yeah.
years. He was hugely important to that lineup. Now, if you lose Vincent Company, fine, you know that's a big loss. But he's getting on a bit. I can understand losing him and replacing him.
33 now.
But that's the key thing.
The second
Replacing
part.
him.
Yeah, you do need a replacement.
He's gone into a season with 3 starting centre-backs, and I'm sorry, speaking as a Liverpool fan, and I've been here before, you can't win the league with 3 centre-backs. Now, I know we tried it with Skirtle, Agger, and Sacco, but,
Look how well that went.
yeah, at least we had Kolo Toure. But I just don't understand why they haven't bought another centre-back.
I think, brutally, Rodri... I know they wanted to replace Fernandinho. I think he was the most pointless signing in
Absolutely.
history. Not in history.
Has he improved that team at all?
I literally do not know how.
He's there to play instead of De Bruyne when they're not playing
Yeah,
a big enough team.
He's injury replacement for Dino, basically.
But he didn't cover... You were watching that Norwich game.
Yeah.
And he did not cover the defence at all.
He didn't cover
No,
enough ground.
And quite frankly, if you're playing with Otamendi and Stones,
You need someone.
2 bloody good centre-backs, but who are both prone to mistakes, you need someone covering in there, and what Fernandinho would have given you is someone to drop in alongside them and look after them and hold their hand. So Rodri was a completely odd signing. Yeah, fine, sign him, absolutely, to replace Fernandinho, but your priority is having 4 centre-backs.
Well, absolutely. I mean, he's more of a luxury signing, I think. It's like the signing you
It's
make
an
when
option.
you... It's like the signing that you would make as Liverpool, where you sort of... You've got all the positions filled, and you're just looking to sort of like bulk it up, like it's squad filler,
It's
isn't
squad
it?
depth.
Which City are really
Step.
good at, but it's not. But this was the one time where they messed up and they needed to put it into the defence rather than into the midfield.
Why get rid of Mangala?
Eloquim Nangala.
I
He's
don't
not
know.
a quality. He's not like one of the
No,
best centre backs
God,
in the
no.
world. But oh my God, he'd provide you
Yeah.
an opportunity from the bench.
Well, filler, and you know, it's again squad depth in the wrong places. I think it's just the case with
I
City.
really don't understand. And I called that the only Achilles heel would be if one of their centre backs got injured for like half the season.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Yeah, that's
I'm
how
in the
centre-back
port.
gets
Yeah.
injured for half a season.
No,
we
absolutely.
could win the league on the back
Of this.
of them not replacing Company.
Yeah.
Eric Laporte not having an ankle.
Oh,
Yeah.
pretty
No,
much.
no, I think you can drag it all back to Vincent Company. If they kept him for another year, even if Company got injured, just having Company
Yeah.
in that side as a leader and
Yeah,
as a presence.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
they've lost direction by losing a player.
Yeah.
Because David Silva is many things, and he is a brilliant, brilliant footballer.
Mm.
He's also
But
old.
I don't see David Silva as a leader.
No.
I don't see
He's
Sergio Aguero as a leader.
David Silva seems too quiet. Aguero is too in his own head, I
He's
think.
too
Who is the
temperamental.
captain in that team now? Like, I mean, I know it's Silva at the moment, but who would you want to be your captain?
Potentially De Bruyne.
I think he's too good to be
He's-
your captain. Do you ever...
See Messi.
It's like when you see Messi as captain, and
That's
actually he was at his best when Puyol was captain. And Puyol would do all the,
Yeah.
telling everybody off, and Messi could just go and play
It's,
football.
it's actually what they say about like math teachers, isn't it? It's the best people. No, hear me out. The best people to.
This is an analogy.
No, all right, no. But the best people to teach maths are the ones that are bad at maths because they know, don't they?
That's actually a really good point.
Well, and much like Messi, he's got the
So
talent.
what you're saying is we should become managers.
We
We
should-
know so little about
What
football.
we should do is become maths teachers. Because if you look at our upload history, Dan, I don't think we are very good at maths.
What your upload history is about as consistent as pigeon shit and Trafalgar Square, mate.
Welcome to the pod, Callum.
I saw that you wrote Phil Foden down, said nothing about it, and
I just
erased.
kind of let you go. What's the point in signing Rodri as a backup for De Bruyne when you've got a backup for De Bruyne?
Is he a backup for De Bruyne though?
In
No,
field
He's
five?
backup for
he's a
Coutinho.
backup for Fernandinho.
He's
Well,
a-
the problem is
he's-
they've got Gundogan already.
Yeah.
It's just he's the most pointless player.
Rodri is not the same player as Fernandinho is.
No, exactly. But he was. That is why he was
He's
signed.
been brought in as a CDM,
That is-
despite the
No,
fact
he's
that
not a
he's a
CDM.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
no, he's
That's
not.
the confusion.
Not a CDM.
What
But he's been played
Rodri
as
is,
CDM.
what
Yeah.
Rodri is he's like Modric in that you don't really know what
he
his
is,
job
yeah.
is,
He's
and
just
he
there.
needs someone next to him like Kroos who
Mm.
can just sort of tick over the midfield, and then Modric,
Let Modric
can
just run
just
around
do
and do
what he
what he
wants to
wants.
do, or Rakitic at the main level.
Well, box to box.
yeah,
isn't
Modric just runs about a lot.
it?
I
He's
was
Kante.
I was reading a funny article. I can't remember. It was about Spurs when Modric was at Spurs, and I can't remember who the Spurs defender was, but he was in an interview and he said that the instructions that he was given by
Oh yes,
it was kick it, just get the ball and kick it to Modric. No matter where you are in the pitch, every
to
time
Modric.
just give it to Modric and let him do it. And
Who
that was his
saying
only
that?
instruction. It was. I think it might have been Redknapp.
It was Redknapp
Crouch.
the manager, yeah.
It was
But who
Crouch
was his-
talking about it, I think.
Yeah.
Or someone like Crouch.
which is a cracking podcast.
No
just gonna
shout-outs.
say.
Competition done.
Other podcasts. Sorry.
No, but he was saying that that the best manager he had was the one that gave him the most simple instructions because like
Yeah.
if you fuck it up,
I've
it's on your plate, and that I believe could be similar to the issue that this man has at the moment. Because what instructions are being given other than copy Fernandinho?
Yeah.
If he can't do that, then what is his instruction?
I think that City have got a real problem now that Company's there.
Mm.
Don't get me wrong, a City real problem still ends with them finishing on 80 points plus
Second, probably.
in second or first in the league
in the
Yeah.
Champions
and
League
having a
spot.
decent run in the Champions League.
Yeah. Not winning it though.
Never winning it.
No,
Ooh.
yeah, come on, let's be real. But they don't
They
have
haven't got a leader.
centre-backs.
They haven't got a leader.
No.
I like John Stones. I think he gets too much flack because he made a couple of high-profile mistakes. I actually think he's a quality centre-back, but I've never rated Otamendi, and I think the two of them make too many mistakes. And for me, it's like you can put David Luiz next to John Terry, and they'll be fine. 'Cause
Yep.
John Terry never makes mistakes.
Yeah,
You can
he
put
cleans
John
up.
Stones next to Virgil van Dijk,
And they'll be
and
fine.
he'd be one of the best centre-backs in the league. You put him next to Nicolas Otamendi,
And he's not going to do it.
and it's
no.
not going to happen.
Oh.
Why don't they play Walker at centre back? We know Walker can play at centre back.
In a 3, though.
It's not his style, is it? It's just not Pep's style.
And they-
Pep likes fast wing backs who run. That's
They've
why he's
got a
on.
fast
They do have
wing-back.
Cancelo.
They've got João Cancelo.
So you're
He's
saying-
made
so what
one
you're saying?
appearance. They brought him for how much?
A swap for Danilo and like 40
And
million.
40
So
million.
Danilo was a £30 million player. They got rid of him and paid an extra 40 for
So
a
they've-
player that
they've-
they're sitting on the bench.
They've
And
paid
then,
70 million for someone to warm the bench.
and then Pep has the gall to say that City don't spend money. It's bullshit. It's honestly,
It is
his
bullshit.
interview at the beginning of the season was like, Klopp complaining about spending is ridiculous. And you go, we've signed one player this season for 4 million. You have signed
Signed.
2
For like,
in a season where you spent pretty much the same as us last
Yeah.
season as well.
Yeah.
It's nonsense, honestly.
should we move on from City? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we got our points across.
Um,
What's next on the agenda, please, Daniel?
Okay, so I'd quite like to talk, obviously about Liverpool, but we'll get there, it's fine.
Yep.
I'd like to talk about Eddie Howe,
Eddie
if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
I think
Of course.
I think
fine.
Eddie Howe deserves a shot at a top 6 club.
Does he?
I think he does.
Which one?
Personally, I think he should be the next boss at Manchester United.
Okay.
As a Liverpool fan, that pains me because I like Eddie Howe, and on principle, I'd have to hate him. I think you look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and yeah, the fans love him because he's a fan favourite and he's a lovely guy. But he's about as like tactically able as my nan.
It's true.
He has no idea.
If you go back to episode 1 of this show, we called it.
We actually called, and we're both surprised he's still in a job.
Yeah.
But we're not surprised that he's done as badly as he has done.
No.
And in saying that, yeah, fine, they're on 8 points. They're level with Spurs and Arsenal and all the big guns, but you know, no one's really fired this season except for Liverpool, let's be honest. And City, but they did lose to Norwich. My thing about Eddie Howe is what he would bring to Manchester United and what he'd bring to Arsenal is he'd do what the other 2 managers are doing, which is promoting youth, being a nice guy, but he's also clearly tactically brilliant. In
Yeah.
that he changes his game plan. If you look at his game against Everton yesterday, he changed it up.
Yeah.
He knew it wasn't going well. He sorted it out.
He made the changes
Yeah.
that needed to be made.
He's a brilliant manager, and he's working with a club who has no business being in the Premier League. And that's no offence to Bournemouth, but if you told Bournemouth fans 10 years ago they'd be a staple of the Premier League,
Yeah, it's true actually, because you look at that team and there's no one world class in it, is there?
Well, there's no one that.
oh well,
you'd
there's Dan
say-
Gosling.
There's no one you'd say would fit into a top 6 side.
No, that's a good way. But, you could potentially make a case for Fraser or Wilson, but even then,
has Fraser fired this season?
yeah, he's
The
got-
only
That
one
free kick
is-
at the
Yeah.
weekend.
The only one who is a quality player
And
is
Maxwell.
good old Harry.
Yep.
Harry is honestly, he's going to be a Liverpool player for a long time. I think that player. He's 21 and he is
Yeah,
he
he's pretty
is
good.
incredible.
He was pretty good.
And any Liverpool fan looking at Harry Wilson and going, oh well, you know, Klopp clearly doesn't like him because he sends him away, and you know normally the players Klopp likes he keeps and what have you. Actually, the reason he sends him away is to see
What
he can do.
Because he's not going to get into that.
He sends
does
Ryan Kent to Rangers,
Mm.
right? He sends Harry Wilson to the Premier League.
Yeah.
That he
That
sends
tells me what
Marco
he's doing.
Grulic to Germany.
Mm.
He keeps Harry Wilson.
Yeah.
And no, I can see Harry Wilson being a brilliant player for Liverpool.
Right, but enough about Harry. We're talking about fucking Eddie here.
Eddie.
Eddie, you see him managing potentially United. I see United more than any of the other ones.
I
It's gotta
see
be.
United, Arsenal, or England.
I think
next.
it's got to be a club with English owners.
The other thing I'd like to see him do, and this is a really outside shout,
Mm.
is follow Jadon Sancho to Dortmund.
I can't see him managing abroad.
I can't see him managing abroad
Why not?
because he's the most English man I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't see him, but why couldn't he be one of the managers who breaks the trend?
Because
Who goes, yeah, quite frankly, he's done all he can at Bournemouth. He's deserved a
He's
better
kept
job.
them where they.
I just don't. I don't see him as a trendsetter in that sense. I see him. I can see him moving to any of the top 6 teams. I could not see him abroad. I just the envisionment in my head. I just can't see that happening.
I'd love to see him go somewhere like Dortmund, Napoli.
Napoli.
Yeah, just somewhere where he can go and make a difference, and it's a step up from
Yeah, but
Bournemouth.
Napoli.
Napoli's a step up, is it? He could
Yeah,
work.
no, it's a step up.
obviously
I'm
he
not
can
arguing.
step
this,
He
it's
could
the
work
weird
with some
one.
quality players in a very good league, and quite frankly, most managers who manage Napoli end up getting a top 6 job. So
That's true, actually.
Yeah,
So
it
he-
is.
it would be a way of him going there and going, look, I have done just as well as Sarri did, just as well as Benitez did. Why can't I get a job? If he finishes second for 3 seasons in a row at Napoli, he could walk into any club in
Yeah.
the Premier League. If he wins the Serie A, which he probably wouldn't. Let's face it, Juventus are Juventus.
no.
But if he does win, it's almost like a free hit for him because Napoli aren't going to finish outside the top 4 realistically.
No. Now we're giving Champions League football.
I don't see why, if you're his agent, you're going, why don't you look abroad? See if anyone's interested.
Mm.
Now, I don't know if a team like Napoli would want the manager from Bournemouth. Is potentially why he might not get the job.
Yeah.
But do you see my point? I just feel like he. No offence to Bournemouth, I love Bournemouth. I think they're a quality side.
Mm.
Like I really like.
But he's not
Bournemouth.
going to get any
I
better.
think he
whatever
deserves
it
a
is.
better job now.
Yeah. Well, in our predictions that we're going to make later, he kind of features into one of mine. So
Does he?
he does. So we'll see. But for now,
Interesting.
let's move on,
Should we do one more topic?
and then we'll go
And
on to
then
our
move on
predictions.
to our
I like the idea.
predictions.
Dan, what should we talk?
And-
What should be our last topic?
Okay, I've got several along here. Should we? I mean, we've got to give a shout out to Timo Pukki.
Oh, Pokey.
Oh,
We've got a
Pukki.
laugh. We got a laugh at Harry Maguire. Yeah, he's brilliant, and yeah, he's the most expensive centre back in the world. But it took him 2 games to get dribbled past. It took Virgil like
I
65.
think it was 68.
So-
Who was the one that dribbled past Virgil?
I don't know. Was it Pepe by any chance?
Oh, god damn right.
Smash it. How many goals has Pepe got this season?
Doesn't matter, 'cause he's got a giant penis.
We could talk about David Luiz again being quite.
We've
could talk.
touched on David.
We've
Luiz, I
touched.
think
We've
that's-
touched as much as I can touch David Luiz.
Well-
I would never want to touch David Luiz.
We got Everton saying they're going to challenge the top 6 and being bang average again.
So, losing to Bournemouth 3-1 is the most Everton thing you could do.
It
No,
really
the most
is.
Everton thing you can do is getting very excited about the signing of Alex
Iwobi.
Iwobi. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Everton.
Like that, when they look at him and go, "Yes, we've got a class player at left
40
wing
million.
for 40 million, you could probably bag Fraser, and he would do a better job than Iwobi. Iwobi can do a lot of good step overs, and he can nutmeg a couple of players. That's about
And
it.
he'd make a really good mop.
Maybe like a really good mop. That might be racist.
No, it's about his hair. It's like Origi. Love the man. But he can make a good mop.
If they had put 5 million
Racist.
more down, if they put 5 million more down on the forwards, like West Ham did, I say West Ham, they could have got a proven goal scorer. I know it's just within the top 5 leagues,
Yeah.
but
Haller looks fantastic.
He does look
He looks
fantastic.
like a really good player. We
it's
say
just-
that he'll get injured
Yeah,
tonight and won't
I
play
mean,
again.
he's had a knock and he's missed a game, so that's what 4 appearances? No, 3 because we haven't actually played yet.
He's really good. I really like that.
Oh, Cal's a West Ham fan, by the way.
Yeah,
Probably should have mentioned that, shouldn't we?
unfortunately.
Anything? Yeah, just Everton. Trying to sign Zaha, going no, and thinking that a reasonable alternative is Alex Iwobi.
It's just bonkers.
Surely they could have gone somewhere else.
And actually, their best signing has been Fabian Delph, and that sort of tells you something. Like Delph has played really well for them, but he is Fabian Delph.
He is Fabian Delph. Did you see that clip of him going, everyone here is fucking shit? Like, after the game, was it during the game?
It's just during the game. It was after the last goal.
He's
that they
just
conceded.
brilliant. He's just brilliant.
Not as good as. Did you hear the story about Ollie McBurney?
No.
Ollie McBurney is a striker for Swansea City. He got called up for the Scotland squad, and one of his teammates said to him, "Are you excited about your national call-up?" To which he responds, "Nope,
What?
they're shit."
I mean,
That is fucking brilliant.
He then has to apologise to Scotland.
Did he get dropped or like that?
No, he
That's
had to go to the manager and apologise.
good.
Which
I mean,
is
they are
just-
shit.
But so is Ollie McBurney. And I say he played for Swansea, that's not true. He actually plays for Sheffield United, got
Yeah.
signed from Swansea this season. I apologise. And thus far hasn't scored yet.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So Ollie McBurney, what
Alright.
player?
Should we go on to our predictions? Because we sort of covered. Sorry,
What's
I was eating with a pen there. Should we go on to our predictions? Because we covered quite a lot in that
Yeah.
brief spell. So we're going to go through our top 6. What else? Top 6. Relegation. Do you think I've written it big enough? Relegation.
Top four.
Player of the season.
Yeah, player of the season.
Of season.
Calling it now Ollie McBurney.
Ollie McBurney. the Ollie McBurney Award.
youth player of the season.
Player of the
Young
season.
player of the year, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Young player.
Just put Young P.
Young P. And
Top scorer.
Top
top scorer. That's it. That's all of them, I think, isn't it?
Oh,
no,
next manager
first
to-
manager.
Ah,
to
the
top.
first manager to go.
Next
Uh,
man.
next manager to go.
Sorry, Javi Gracia has already jumped the gun. 4 games in. Just to clarify, we are 5 games through. So the top 6 currently is Liverpool on 15 points because they're incredible. City on 10 points. Spurs, Man United, Leicester and Chelsea all on 8 points. Arsenal just outside, also on 8 points.
Why did you admit us? You were like, these teams are all on 8 points,
'cause it's
and then
goal
Arsenal.
Yeah, because you're not in the top 6, are
No,
you?
bun off.
Because you're...
Bun off.
No, it's actually goals scored
Goals
because they've got the
scored,
same
yeah.
goal difference. And teams
Dickhead.
in the relegation zone are Watford on 2 points, Wolves on 3 points, Villa on 3 points, and then Newcastle on 4. Newcastle just outside, sorry.
Okay.
And then Brighton, Sheffield, and Burnley are all on 5, so
Okay.
they're sort of floating around.
Right.
Who wants to start on top 6?
I'll start on top 6.
Go on then.
My top 6. I'll start from number 6. Leicester.
What, 6th?
Leicester 6th. Interesting.
I just think, spoiler alert, Chelsea aren't in my top 6.
Wow.
I don't see it working. I see Tammy getting injured or Mount getting injured, and that just completely crippling.
You and I are reading the Premier League completely different.
Oh, we know.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Leicester at 6.
Leicester at 6th. Then I've got United.
United?
Because, I mean, to me, you can sort of chop and change United and Chelsea. It's so flip-floppy on which one's going to do shit. I mean, they're both going to do shit, but it's which one does more shit. I think United might edge it purely because I don't know if Chelsea's transfer ban will be lifted in January.
No, it's
No, I don't
next
think it won't.
summer, isn't it?
In that case,
They're appealing for it to
You see
be
this-
lifted in
yeah,
January,
but
if
you
it
can't
doesn't,
see
that's
it.
another
but
question.
you don't see it happening. Therefore, I think United might edge it if they sign someone good.
Okay.
My next, after United, Arsenal.
You got Arsenal in the top 4. Interesting.
I would be betraying my club
Yeah,
if
fair
I
enough.
didn't. But sadly, I've got to put Spurs above us.
Spurs above Arsenal. That's sad.
It is sad, but it's realistic.
Okay. Who's winning the Premier League, David?
Daniel, who is winning the Premier League? I'm gonna have to rub this out.
You've not
I
actually,
haven't
given
actually
yourself
got enough room.
space.
So in number 2,
Oh yeah, boy! For those of you who can't tell by my reaction, Dave reckons we'll win the league this
pretty
year,
fucking obvious here. Isn't it?
which we will.
Yes, I am billing Liverpool to win the league.
I support that.
Purely out of the things that we said earlier. So I believe Liverpool will win the league.
Liverpool will win the Premier League.
Do you want me to do all of mine? First?
No, let's do top 6 and because then we can talk about it a little bit as well.
Okay. Right, who's next for top 6?
Callum, what do you
Do you want
reckon?
me to go?
Yeah, go on, mate.
So I'll go bottom to top again.
Arsenal in 6.
Arsenal in
fucking-
6.
Okay.
I just think you haven't got the depth to go any higher, but I don't think anyone else that says, "Oh, we're going to push for Europa League this year," like Everton and Leicester and
I'm actually going to push for
and
Europa
West
League.
Ham, have even got the depth or the ability to push for it.
No.
They'll get too tied up in a cup run or something like that. It just won't happen. There'll be an upset here and there. I just think it will be Arsenal.
God,
Okay.
doom and gloom in the corner.
I'm just being realistic.
Can't wait for the relegation predictions.
You know, I've actually not got Arsenal in my top 6.
I'm gonna go.
They're not
Not in the top 6, but we'll get there.
I'm gonna stick with Man U fifth.
Man U fifth.
Fifth.
Bloody Nora.
You'd think we
Something-
don't watch football, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I just think at some point Rashford's gonna turn.
He's gonna find. He's gonna.
Yeah, he's
something's
gonna
gonna click
find
inside him.
some form.
I like Rashford a lot.
He's getting. I don't know if he
Done
gets
walks
too
on the
much
beach.
stick from the media with the whole penalty situation with Pogba as
Yeah.
well. That maybe now that they've sorted that out with who's taking penalties,
It will actually work for him.
Rashford will go, right, I know where I stand now.
I think he'll. I agree that something might just. He'll just be like, why was I doing this before when I can do this?
Yeah.
And he'll find a position or a run that he can make all the time, and he'll absolutely nail it. And he will be. You're absolutely right, Dan. Fucking sexy.
Yep.
Who's
next
Do you want to give me a bit more room?
I don't even know why you wrote top six.
Yeah,
you know we're going to put the top six here.
Yeah, I'm going to smoosh
Yeah,
that out of the
just
way.
keep
That
going.
makes sense.
All right.
Right, fourth,
Who you put in a fourth?
I'm going to have Chelsea there.
Chelsea.
And
Interesting.
I'm going to disagree with Dave.
I back that.
I think Abraham, watching him from the Championship last year, and Mount, watching Derby in
Derby.
the Championship last year, and Tamori
Yep.
are going to just carry on what they're doing.
You don't think they're
You've
going
got to look at the goal that Mount scored. All right, it was a fifth goal,
Mm.
but it
But
was
it's a good
technical.
goal. Oh,
He's
it was a
got
good
the
goal.
feet.
But also, Tammy Abraham's hat trick.
All right, he did
Was
score an
ju-
own goal as well.
Yeah, which I love. He scored
Yeah.
4 goals in one game. He's the only player ever to score a hat trick and an own goal in the
It's
Premier
amazing.
League.
It's fantastic.
But what a hat trick!
What
Like
a-
the header was beautiful. That third goal was
I love
just
the one
oh.
where. Do you see Ian Wright's breakdown? He goes.
Boop-a-doo-boo.
Just gets past his man. Unbelievable.
Tamori and Mount have got the link with
Derby.
Lampard.
And
Yeah.
Lampard, yeah.
So they've been with each other for a couple of seasons. Lampard knows what he's doing. Chelsea.
And,
Okay,
and then
okay.
they're going to sign Tom Huddleston and Tom Lawrence, and
Yeah.
it will all be
Yeah.
fine. For those of you who don't know, they're Derby players.
They're-
I'm
they're-
sorry, that was badly
But it's
pitched.
Championship.
Number 3, Callum.
Third, I'm going to have to go with Spurs.
Spurs, yeah.
I mean, they're not going to finish seventh. As a West Ham fan, it bothers me that Spurs are in Champions League, but
no
How do you
one
feel?
here is a particular lover of
their new
Spurs.
stadium looks like a toilet bowl, so I don't care.
Been there,
It
done
does.
that.
But yeah, sorry mate, you missed the bus
That's on
on that one.
news. I was on last week. I mean, last week's
Like-
episode.
6 months ago.
I'm-
Number 2, Callum. Who's winning the league?
I just don't think they're going to spend enough in January, or at all.
You think us?
I think City are coming second.
Oh!
I don't think they're gonna-
Blimey, it's a
I don't
clean
think-
sweep.
They're going to learn.
Yeah.
They're not going to learn from the Laporta injury. They're
No.
not going to bring another centre back in. Pep is too stubborn to do it.
Yeah,
Fair
I
enough.
totally agree. It's
They're
that
not-
centre back thing.
He
You.
thinks that they can run the same midfield that they ran last season with different players.
No.
And just imagine this, right? Here's my question: what happens if Ed
He's the top scorer.
gets injured?
Who's Ed?
Edison.
Edison.
But I don't want to write Edison.
So
What happens if Ed gets injured?
Claudio
Ed.
Bravo. Claudio Bravo happens.
So imagine that back
Jesus.
three of Bravo, Stones, and Otamendi.
That's Arsenal
Do
level.
you trust them?
That is Arsenal level.
That's
to
centre
win
back.
the league.
that's mid-table. I don't. That's the thing. They haven't got depth.
You can't believe that
No.
saying that about City because they have had depth.
Yeah,
They've
they've
had
got-
£60 million
you need-
players on the
You need
bench.
to clarify. You need to say they have depth everywhere else
Except
besides
defence.
defence.
Midfield, yeah, and I think there's going to be a fallout between Pep and Phil Foden, which is why I tried to bring him up earlier.
And failed.
And failed.
Fallout
Which is
between
terrible.
Foden.
Yeah,
Despite
Foden
Pep
has-
going out and saying he's
the
like
best
best
player
player
he's
I've
ever
ever
Yeah.
seen.
Foden has said he needs minutes this season or he's leaving.
Oh shit.
He has said that.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't think with Rodri in now,
You're getting no.
he's not going to get enough time.
That's
a
fair
really
enough.
good point, Callum.
That's fair enough.
He needs a run at a mid-table team.
Let's go.
You've
On.
proved you're not an Alex Iwobi level signing.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, he's more like a. What was he saying, Matt?
He's up and
At the moment, you're like a
He's up and
Pulisic
coming.
signing.
Yeah.
We don't really know what
No.
you're bringing, but you're bringing something classy.
And you sound
And-
funny.
Liverpool to win, needless to say.
Fantastic. Let's get on to my least favourite part of the episode.
He
Dan,
doesn't like talking about Liverpool. Because,
Dan,
you know.
what's your predictions?
Okay, are you ready for this?
Not really.
I'm going to rattle through nice and easy. In sixth is going to be Man U.
I don't think we need to ask why.
Yeah.
In fifth is going to be Spurs.
Fifth.
Fifth.
In fourth is
Gonna
going
be
to be Leicester.
No, Leicester in the
Daniel.
Champions League.
What have you been smoking?
In third is going to be Chelsea.
Yeah.
What?
In second is going to be City. And top of the tree is going to be Origi.
Origi FC.
Mate,
I've
it's
missed
just
an eye.
orgy, mate.
I've written Origi on the board.
Orgy
Right.
to win the league.
So let's talk about it. No Arsenal in the top six, and here's why.
Why? Don't
That's-
write David Luiz. That's like my
I was
great
going to
boy.
wite Louise.
The Cullen
So you don't think we're going to sign a centre back in January?
No.
No.
Arsenal are gone. I can't see them getting top six. Sorry, Dave. Man United in sixth. The reason I've put Man United in sixth is Daniel James, really. I think Daniel James is a really good player.
You think he's going to carry
And
them?
I think he'll do enough to just keep them ahead of Arsenal.
Okay.
Spurs, I think, are due a huge collapse.
Yeah.
In
they are.
January, when all the players who don't have contracts, the whole thing that happened at the start of the season happens again, but at this point they can talk to other clubs.
Yeah.
So Spurs are just so unsettled, and Poch doesn't look happy. Poch
No, he
looks
doesn't.
really stressed. And yeah, fine, they bounce back, 4-0 win against Palace. Hang on a minute, it's against Palace. Like, let's all just calm down.
It's true.
You know, Palace made 4 changes.
They're incredibly bipolar. This
You know,
team, isn't
yeah, Palace are one of the most bipolar teams in the world.
Yeah.
And it's for that reason, look, honestly, top 4. I know Leicester is.
I
is a
don't need
big
you
shout.
to explain these three. I can sort of see
Yeah.
your reason.
Yeah, no.
I know Leicester's a big shout,
That's a
right?
very
and you
big
know
shout.
what? You could easily swap Leicester and Spurs. You could easily put Leicester down in 7 because I heard it explained to me really, really well. Is that at the moment there's a clear top 2.
Yeah.
And then
It's a scrap.
everybody talks about it as, oh, you've got these top 6 teams. I don't think that's true anymore. I think you've got the top 2 teams, and then you've got a top 6 behind them. In that you've got
Yeah.
Chelsea, Leicester, Spurs, Man U, Arsenal, and Everton. I know Everton are having a weird season, but Everton are
big
always
team,
going to be
yeah.
there or thereabout. And I think they could all finish in a mishmash of positions because none of these teams are settled. Man United could sack their boss, we don't know. Spurs could lose half their team.
What's that there, boss?
Chelsea can't make any signings.
No.
Arsenal have David Luiz.
Leicester have Roy Hodgson.
Like, honestly, we don't know. And that's why I think Leicester could be anywhere from 3 through to 8.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, Daniel. Fair enough.
Can
I'll
I
give
just
you that.
say on the Spurs point,
Yep.
if they don't renew any contracts next year, they're going to lose
Vertonghen,
Ericsson, Vertonghen, and Alderweireld.
they'll lose half their
That's
defence
terrible.
and their best player.
So they'll have Davidson Sanchez at centre back.
Hang on, who did you
I
say?
like Davidson Sanchez.
Did you say their best players?
Eriksen. Eriksen's the best player at Spurs, easily. Eriksen. Eriksen for me is. He's one of those players that he'll never. I love Coutinho more because I think Coutinho is just like a cooler player. But
Right.
Eriksen is probably a technically better player.
Okay.
Because he does everything well.
And
all
if
the
he
time.
needs to, he will play out on the wing. If he needs to.
No, I think Eriksen's
Okay.
a stunning player.
Let's move on.
You think him and Son's the best player, don't you? But that's just nonsense.
I genuinely rate Lucas Moura. I do.
I like Lucas Moura, but he's a
He's
a
not their
squad
best player.
No, not
Dele Alli
But I
could
genuinely
be
rate
in several years' time,
Yeah.
but at the
I
moment,
like how
Are you
I
saying
was
Dele
like,
Alli's
none
young?
of us,
yeah,
none
he's
of us are addressing the dumb power in the room, which is Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. Yeah, because the thing about Harry Kane is, for me, he's like Lewandowski.
He's
He's
as
a
good
brilliant striker.
He's as good as the people behind him.
Yeah, but exactly, you've got to have, Robert Lewandowski has made a career out of having players behind him are so much better than everybody else in the league. And Kane will score, I reckon, if Eriksen goes, Kane will go from scoring 30 goals a season to 20 goals a season. Which is still, he's
Very
still a
good.
brilliant
Still good,
striker.
yeah.
But you
But-
look at him for England, he scores penalties.
Yeah,
Because actually,
because Sterling wins penalties.
Sterling likes to score.
Yeah.
Like, the players behind him, the midfield don't play the Eriksen ball. Kane doesn't score from open
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
But that's Harry Kane.
Right, let's go on to relegation. Let's rattle through this because we're spending quite a lot of time on other things.
We ran it.
Relegation.
Shall I do my relegation
Yeah,
shall we
first
go
because I
backwards?
went last?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so I think bottom of the league. I think it's really hard. Actually,
Okay.
I think any of these, like the 5 teams,
What,
could
what I'm
finish.
going to do is
Interchangeable.
say if you've got anything different to what I've got, and if there is something different, I'll mention mine. But
All right, yeah.
Yeah, bottom of the league is going to be Newcastle.
Yeah.
In 19th, I've got Watford. And in 18th, I've got Sheffield United.
mine is exactly the same, bar Watford.
Okay. Who would you swap Watford for
Brighton.
at 19?
Brighton. What, even with Neil Maupay?
Pardon? Who?
I don't know who that
Neil
is.
Maupay.
It
I know they
doesn't.
sold
His
Knock
name
Up,
doesn't
but-
rhyme with Cristiano Ronaldo, so I'm guessing he's not going to do much.
No, Maupay's actually, he was incredible for Brentford
He
last
was
year.
very
He's a
good for
quality
Brentford.
player.
If we didn't sign Haller, it would have been Maupay.
I actually think that Maupay is a good enough player to help keep Brighton up.
I'm going to agree with Dan, but I'm going to disagree on the order.
You're swapping Newcastle.
Jesus.
Swapping Newcastle with Watford.
Watford dead bottom. I just...
Yeah.
When you start this badly,
It's so hard,
it's
isn't it?
difficult to turn around. And I'm saying this as you two haven't really had the relegation fight.
I never have.
Yeah, right.
Ever.
Hey.
But we have. We've had that season where we've been in the league
Yeah.
and then we have a really bad year. You go down to the championship and it's killer.
Yeah.
And then you come back up and it's like, are we staying up? Then you get a manager change and it becomes another different style of play. It probably won't be as bad with Watford because they remember the style of play that they had before the manager change.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough.
Can they stop the ball from
But
rolling down?
they're
I
just, I just think they're leaky.
I agree. I totally support. And actually, as I said, I think there are 2 teams above that in Villa and probably Brighton or Southampton. All of those teams for me are there or thereabouts.
That's fair enough.
No,
It's
yeah,
very
I'm with you.
interchangeable. It's quite.
Yeah,
it's so
it's-
up in the air at the moment. The only certainty I think is who is winning the league.
Between the two.
Let's not say that.
But-
Let's not jinx it too
between-
much.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Let's not jinx it.
But
Come on.
between the two,
The only-
it's way easier to predict than who's
This-
going down.
yeah.
I think.
I actually think that the whole table is so hard this year.
It really is.
And we will on the social media all post all our predictions.
Yeah.
So feel free to comment and tell us we're all idiots.
Oh, well,
'cause we
yours
know
are,
we
yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think sort of everything is, other than maybe, Southampton finishing top 10, I think there's very few things that are going to happen.
Jesus.
Anything can
The
happen.
only thing that's standard is that we're going to get a disappointing mid-table finish at West Ham.
Yes.
Right.
Player of the season.
Callum to start, player of the season.
Player of the season,
Who did you have?
I have got Kevin De Bruyne.
KDB.
I reckon he'll overcome the injury crisis, if you can call it injury crisis, and I just think Pep's going to have to give him a bit more freedom.
Yeah,
and he can. We know he can pull the strings. We know what he's about.
Yeah, he's done it before. Playing the season.
Yeah.
And he was
He's
younger.
done it before. He was younger, and he absolutely demolished
When did
Scotland
he do that?
on the international break.
What was it? Salah that got it in the end.
I thought Salah
He
beat
was.
him.
He was.
He was
near.
up there.
He was
Yeah,
up.
Salah beat him for
Yeah.
player of the season
Yeah.
because he scored 31 goals. Which
I
had
just
never
think
been
it's the kind of season where you're going to get.
That's just a fact. That's not a brag.
You don't make the rules here.
He pulled 3 assists and a goal against Scotland.
Yeah.
But
I know
I've got-
it's Scotland.
I was going to say, I've got to tell you something, Callum. Scotland aren't in the Premier League.
I know,
so-
but internationally,
beat Scotland 3-0.
internationally, it's when players.
Yeah, no,
Sure. No,
KDB is a fair shout.
Okay.
Dave, if you say Pepe, I'm
not Pepe.
going to
It's
beat
not
you
gonna
to
be
death.
It's not Pepe. Player of the season.
Is it Kieran Gibbs? She can come up in January.
Van Dijk, yeah, it's safe. Really safe choice.
What do you say?
Of course, he'll probably win Ballon d'Or this year. He'll definitely be in the top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is at the moment the best centre back in the world. At the moment.
And you know, in being the best centre back in the world, he is up there at being the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that you can always find someone, I think, that can score goals.
Mm.
I don't know if you can find someone
That can defend.
that can defend
consistently.
that well.
Not only that, but just control a football pitch.
It's just
He just
he's a
shuts
voice,
everything.
isn't he?
He is.
just amazing, and it is heartbreaking that we don't have someone like that at Arsenal, because that's exactly what we need.
Did you see his assist in the Community Shield?
Yes.
Oh my god! Just a little from a header. He's inside the box on the left-hand side. A dinked volley through onto Matip's head. That's what Van Dijk
enough
can
said.
bring.
I don't think I need to justify it.
It's a tin pot.
Van
trophy.
Dijk.
And mine is also sort of up there as being fairly predictable. I love him.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best players in the league. In fact, I think he's one of the best wingers in the world at the moment.
I think in that, if he's going to get
Sadio
first season,
Mane.
him and Salah will do the switcheroo. I
I'll
reckon.
jockey a lot.
It basically depends on who scores more goals this year. Salah or Mane.
Exactly. That's exactly what it depends on. So let's move on to young player of the season.
Yeah, young player. I'd buy that.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I think it's going to be very easy to fall into the Chelsea
Yes.
landmine.
Yeah.
Who's selected a Chelsea player?
No,
Let's go for it.
I'm raising my hand up. You won't be able to see it.
Have you gone for? Let me guess, Mason Mount.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, but I
I don't
deliberately
disagree,
didn't
but I
pick-
didn't want to pick a Chelsea player,
Yeah,
so I
that's fair
didn't
enough.
pick Mason Mount.
I don't care for the rules done. I chose Mason Mount because Mason Mount will be the young player.
He will be an England midfielder for
Ever.
He's an incredible player.
He's absolutely fantastic. And again, I don't even need to write him down because we all know that he will be young player this season. I just need to put it out there. Who are yours?
Go on then.
I'm torn on the back of my own morals of supporting my own club and saying Rice,
Mm.
but
Declan Rice is a brilliant player as well.
Yep.
conforming to young player of the season always got to be a forward.
Yeah.
Is Moise Keane.
Moise Keane.
Really?
Wow, that's a shout.
It's properly
We
out
are
there.
five games in. Has he started a game in the Premier League?
I
He
don't
started
think-
one. It was not the most recent one, the one before that, where they played Wolves, and it was, what was the score?
2?
3-2.
3, sorry.
It was something crazy. He didn't score, but I think he got an assist, and he did play well from what I remember.
That's not how you spell it.
Moise Keane.
Oh,
No,
no,
it's
yeah.
no E.
There's no E.
I
There's
thought
no
that
E.
was an A. Sorry, I apologise.
That's the centre back.
Right. No, he's made 5 appearances. 4 have come off the bench.
Yeah, I told you, he made one starting appearance against Wolves.
I would be very surprised if Moise Keane got young player.
Okay.
Right. It's you've got Keane, you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and you've got Richarlison. I just think Keane's got the staying power.
I don't. I think he'll
Juventus-
have a good season, but I don't think
Juventus
he'll be players.
wouldn't have had him as a player,
But equally,
if they didn't see
Juventus
promise.
wouldn't have let him go if they saw that.
Right, so can I
Yes.
address something? First of all, I'm going to pick... Somehow, he is not only under the age of 21, which is what we went for, he's also the best right-back in the world. Trent.
Yep.
He's an obvious pick.
Yep.
Or, outside pick, I watched him play against Man City, or at least the highlights. I've watched him a couple of times this season. I think he's brilliant. Todd Cantwell.
I would say. Yeah.
Todd Cantwell, if he plays for the rest of the season like he is now, he will be a top 6 player next season. He is
I'd give him 2.
he is unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
I'd say
I like
2.
Todd Cantwell so much.
I read that.
Um,
I forgot about Trent. I won't lie to you.
I think Trent is a
I think
shoo-in.
Trent. I think up there it's Trent or Mason Mount.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Trent's got an advantage for is he was starting right back in a Champions League winning team.
Tell me he's a shout if he carries on how he's
Yeah.
going, but I don't think he will.
He is top scorer in the joint top scorer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Right.
Speaking of which, that's a lovely little segue
Into
top scorer.
Who's got one?
Right, to be fair, right, I'm going to go with what I said at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Okay, from now, you'd be a fool to not bet on Aguero.
Yeah.
I think he's the best Premier League striker pretty much ever, or he's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah.
I love Aguero, and I think he probably will be.
Okay.
But I'm going to go for his Man City teammate, Raheem Sterling.
Sterling is top scorer.
I reckon it will either be Raheem Sterling if City pull it back and win the league, or it'll be Mane. It'll be one of those two, depending on who wins the league.
Okay.
I had Liverpool to win the league, so I've got to say Mane. But I think Sterling that's who
also.
I said at the beginning of the
Yeah,
season.
that's fair enough. Obviously, 2 reasonable picks.
Yeah.
I completely.
I didn't go for Moise Kean, for example.
What's yours, Callum?
Callum?
No, you
I don't know why you rubbed that off because I've got Sterling as well.
You got
Sterling?
Sterling.
Yeah.
And that's funny
It's
because
official.
I've got Mane.
Really?
Yeah.
So between the three of us, we were agreed
We're
that
going
those
to
two...
those
we
three,
started
but one
with
of
that.
those two is going to.
But I think we're all agreed that Aguero will be in the conversation.
He'll be up there.
Aubameyang and Kane will be there
Yeah,
or thereabouts.
Salah.
Salah will be there.
Dare I say Firmino and Kane.
Firmino won't be there. But I think he'll get the most assists this
You think
season.
you go versus? Yeah.
He'll also get the most back heels in a box.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a rubbish
The
assist.
the most attempted bicycle kicks in a season.
Basically, being the flashiest dickhead on the pitch.
Yeah, it's
Is he not
physically
incredible
possible.
to watch?
He is.
I think he's the most interesting footballer to watch because everything he tries is something you'd try on FIFA. Or rather, Callum would try on FIFA.
That's the story for another day, isn't it?
Okay.
We've also got our final prediction.
Absolutely.
Is
Just
it's
a player to watch, isn't it?
player to watch who we think he's not
It's not your final
a
prediction, either.
he's not a Mane or a Sterling,
He's not an obvious shout. Someone
But-
a bit outside.
but he's not a young player necessarily. He's just someone that will be there.
That.
When I said final prediction, I meant
Second
second
final.
final. So
Penultimate.
who is your?
I want
guys?
to do mine last.
You want to do yours last?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are we going to call this? Man to watch.
Yeah, just someone generally that we think might not get enough credit,
Yeah.
or just
Will be
will have a
good.
good season. Who do you
Um,
reckon?
Not to jump on the bandwagon too quickly, but
Timo
He's gonna
Pukki.
go with Pukki.
Of course.
he is.
What a player!
I mean,
He's
outrageously good.
like Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, that is
of
the best.
Finland.
He's Jamie Vardy in that Leicester winning season so far.
Oh yeah.
He's, if not potentially.
The thing about him is he doesn't have Vardy's pace at all. Vardy is ridiculously quick,
But-
Pukki isn't.
No, but he's so good.
He looks like a postman,
He does.
and yet he scores.
He looks like a
brilliant
builder.
goals.
He does. He looks like you.
Looks like a proper
He
player.
looks like Callum.
You can go down the pub with him. You can have a pint and share a packet of peanuts.
But then he tells you, "I'm a professional footballer," and you fall off your chair and
Yeah.
go, "No,
No,
you're
you're
not."
And I'm
have a
Batman.
lot.
But he's,
So am I.
he's just. I without question,
Fair enough.
he is my man to watch.
Yeah.
Purely-
Certainly at the moment.
Purely because I want to watch him.
Would you have called that at the beginning of the season?
I don't think anyone. would.
Absolutely
No,
not.
not a chance.
Right,
Callum.
Callum, I think I can guess yours.
Go on then.
I'm gonna guess with Haller.
See, I was going to go with Haller.
He was going to go with Haller,
Oh, that was a
was.
good
I
shout.
decided to change it.
but he didn't go with Haller.
Oh.
Didn't.
Who did you go with, Callum?
Then I thought,
You thought?
Then I
Wow.
thought, which is
Jesus
dangerous.
Christ.
I thought Neil Maupay, but then you two shot me down about Neil
No,
Maupay.
I like Neil Maupay as well. To be fair, I think he's a really good player.
So,
Agree to disagree.
and then this is like borderline
You're wrong.
youth.
Borderline you.
Borderline youth. I'm going to go with Moussa Dejempo
At Southampton.
at Southampton.
That's a really good.
That is a
call.
good one.
I just think he's one of them players that you can go, right, just stick him up front, let him do what he's got to do, and he'll find the net. Did you see his goal at the
That's
weekend?
Goal of the weekend.
Brilliant.
Oh my
Goal
God.
of the weekend.
Absolutely unbelievable.
It's just the
And
feet,
and
the,
even
the
then-
touch.
His other
Like
goal, his
everything.
first goal for Southampton was unbelievable as well. A beautiful colour against Brighton. Just
He
Brilliant.
looks like he could be a really flashy player to watch.
and
I'd totally
I
back that.
can't wait for you to sign him next
In a couple of
season.
seasons.
No,
Yeah.
I think for me, right, he is the sort of player who will stay at Southampton for a couple of seasons and then will go across to somewhere like.
He'll fall off the face of the
Leverkusen
earth or
or
something.
Marseille.
Yeah.
He'll fall off the face.
But he's a
Don't-
good player.
Who is your man to watch?
Okay.
So far we've got Genepo and we've got Pookie. It's a world class
Ah,
set
let's-
so far.
I- just did an
I've had
F1.
it up to here, which you can't really do on a podcast because no one can see. But
He's had it
basically-
up to here.
Manchester City have the best midfield probably in Europe, right? And that means that everybody compares our midfield to Manchester
Yeah.
City
Yeah.
and goes on about how bad the Liverpool midfield is. And I don't buy it at all. Okay? And I think that I could have picked any of our midfielders who don't get enough credit.
Okay.
I think you could say that Gini, for example, is a brilliant player who doesn't get enough credit. Fabinho is going to be. You've got Fabinho, who I think could be one of our star performers this year. But I am going to pick
Gonna go
the
James-
Champions League winning captain, Jordan Henderson.
Oh my God.
I don't think that man gets enough credit for what he does at Liverpool Football Club. I've watched him for too long, and when Gerrard was there,
Can't even put a date
I
on it.
watched him play and I thought, oh my God, what the hell have we bought here? And he spent 2 seasons trying to be Steven Gerrard, okay?
Which
And
is
let's
never
be
gonna
real,
happen.
he's not Steven Gerrard.
It's never going to
No.
happen.
What he is, he's a brilliant workhorse, a brilliant leader, and actually a bloody good footballer. And he does not get enough credit for what he does in that midfield. And we are a better team when Jordan Henderson
Yeah,
plays.
yeah.
You watched us yesterday against Newcastle, where we played Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Fabinho and Gini, and we looked lost in that midfield because we didn't have that man leading us. Now, do I think he's the best midfielder in the league? Do I even think he's in the top 50? Probably not. But what I do think
It's the
is that he
presence.
never gets enough credit for what he does
That-
for England and for Liverpool.
That is a bold pick, Dan.
I just love the man, and I don't think he gets enough credit. He's a Champions League winning captain.
You know what he is? He's a better Mark Noble.
Yeah, he is. But he plays 40 games a season without fail.
Yeah,
He won't get injured. He won't do anything stupid. He doesn't make mistakes. He is what you need to keep a season ticking.
Yeah.
He is the equivalent of Sami Khedira. Sami
But
Khedira is a player who you don't understand why he's good,
But he's there.
but he's there and he complements the team he's in.
It's like Mark Noble.
I think Jordan Henderson is a much better player than he's ever been given credit for.
I just,
Certainly a
when,
much better player than Mark Noble.
when
That's not
this
hard.
is another thing. When Henderson leaves, retires, whatever he does, I don't think he'll transfer away. You're going to be lost.
Yeah.
When Mark Noble retires, because I know he's not
You're
gonna
going to get
transfer,
relegated.
We're going to get relegated because we don't have someone that's a captain.
Yeah.
And Pellegrini's too stupid and goes, oh yeah, let's start Cresswell.
That is the
I'm not gonna-
most spot on Pellegrini impression I've ever heard.
I can't do an Italian accent.
But
I
we've
don't-
talked about the effect
Mamma
of company
mia,
leaving.
I won't sign a
Company
captain.
left, they don't have a leader.
I'm not going into the Cresswell debate. These two know I'm
Koscielny
incredibly
left.
passionate about.
Doesn't matter because we never had a leader.
Yeah.
He was wearing a Bordeaux shirt all
Yeah.
along.
Yeah.
So.
These two know I'm very passionate about
This
Cresswell
might
being
this might
back.
confuse
He's
people.
awful.
This actually means the next manager to
To
be
be
sacked. I'm going to go in quickly.
You go start.
It's going to be Solskjaer,
Ole
and
Gunnar Solskjaer.
Eddie Howe's going to replace him.
Okay.
And
I
that's
support that.
Who's
the
coming in
evolution of
Bournemouth?
life.
I think he will go. I agree. I don't think he'll be the next to go.
He'll go
I
at
was about to write him down.
some point this season.
Who do you think's going to be next to go? Is it the same as me?
I don't know. I don't think.
Should we write them at the same time?
Oh, how cute.
3, 2, 1, go.
They're frantically writing, and they're both right.
Roy Hodgson!
Roy Hodgson.
Called it.
both?
You know what's funny?
What?
Mine isn't actually Ollie. I changed mine earlier to
Was it
say
Roy?
Roy.
We're on the same wavelength.
It's not
Both of
Ollie.
us.
It's not Ollie. It's
Of course it's Roy.
It's the Roy triple attack. It's a
It's gotta be Roy.
4-3-3 and Roy's spearheading the front. Yeah, it's gotta be, doesn't it?
He's not. He's a good manager, but he's
so-
1,000.
He's so old. That
Yeah,
couldn't have been better.
it's got to be Roy.
Well,
What
we
a
all agree
way
on that.
to
What a way.
finish the prediction.
Yeah. I mean, he's been managing since well before we was born, 1976. He's done
Maybe not
managing.
you, but
He's
Yeah,
managed
no.
21 teams in that time.
Also, I have no idea what half of these teams are.
They're all Finnish. And
What is grasshoppers?
it's a
But you know,
small green
Copenhagen, he's been at Udinese, he's been at Fulham.
If you're a
When the
grasshoppers
hell did he
fan,
manage
please contact me. You know, wasn't he Sweden national manager for a bit?
What?
Or did I imagine?
Swiss.
Switzerland,
Switzerland.
sorry. Switzerland national
He's been at
manager.
Inter Milan, he's been at Bristol, he's done it all.
Roy's had a huge career.
So what you're saying?
he took Fulham to the Europa League
Now-
final.
give it
Now
up.
tell me if I'm being
It's too
crazy,
old.
Dan. Are you suggesting that Eddie Howe does a Roy Hodgson and do that and manage that many teams?
I'd be very surprised because Roy actually started abroad because no one wanted to employ him here, and he was the worst Liverpool manager in my memory. He was dog shit. Like honestly, I like Roy, but for Liverpool and England, he's turned himself into one of my least favourite managers ever. The only person who I think eclipses him is Steve McLaren.
Well, that's a good way to sign off, isn't it?
Oh,
On the note of dog shit,
Us all agreeing.
on Roy Hodgson, we did all agree, and I think that rounds off a pretty good episode, a pretty good return. Much like I don't know, Norwich to the Premier League, we've made a good return.
yeah.
We've got a star signing of Timo Pukki, and we've done well.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with how this has gone. We'll be back
At some
next
point.
week.
We'll say next week.
At some point.
We'll see you next
We'll go
year.
with it.
Next
We'll
season.
try and be back next week. Well, we'll review the week action. We'll have a chat. We might release some other stuff. You've still got a few odds on to do that. We'll bring that back at some point.
Yeah.
You know, we've got some stuff in the
We've
pipeline.
got stuff
anyway.
in the locker.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
And I'll try to brag about Liverpool a little
How many
bit
is that?
more.
10
That's
times,
10
Dan.
times.
10
this pod.
times.
I think it was more. I think you missed a couple.
I think I switched off towards the end. Much like Maynard Niles on the right back, I switched off towards the end. Well, then, thank you very much for listening, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you've been watching this on YouTube,
And by guys, you mean mum.
and to our one viewer, thank you.
Yeah,
And,
honestly, it means a lot.
we will. Oh, I guess we'll see you next week, won't we?
Well, they'll hear us next week.
They'll hear us next week.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we'll try. We'll try.
Consistent performances. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next time.
See you next.